Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be making some honeybee swarm traps. These traps are not to catch and kill the bees, but actually relocate them into our apiary. You can set these up and catch honeybees just about anywhere. You'll catch them from the wild as well as other beekeepers when their hives split and swarm. These will sometimes catch those as well. Beekeeping can be quite expensive, and replacing a hive or starting a new one of the biggest expenses is filling it with those bees. Buying a queen and 5 pounds of bees to go along with her costs quite a bit, so if I catch one swarm off of these 6 traps that I'm making, I'll easily pay for all the materials that have gone into making this. And then I can also use these swarm traps over and over again for quite a few years. So if you're into beekeeping or want to start beekeeping, I'd try testing out some of these, and that might save you a lot of money in the long run. Now to get started, I'm going to cut everything down to size and get that ready and then start assembling. And this is a perfect project to start using up some of that scrap wood you have laying around. If you're like me, you've got a lot, and I used everything that I could from my scrap wood pile. Basically made 3 boxes just from scraps, and then had to buy 2 more sheets of plywood, and I used that to make the other 3. If you're planning on making some of these and would feel better about using some build plans with clear instructions on how to make it, cut lists, and tools required, I'll have those available. It's on my list to do. Once those build plans are ready for you, I'll leave the link right here on the screen. I also have a bunch of other build plans available on my Etsy page. You can go check that out. I'll leave the link down in the description below. But those build plans go along with the videos that I've made on this channel, so hopefully that's helpful for you guys. As I start assembling the boxes, I'm going to be using some 1¼ deck screws to fasten this together while the glue's drying. I'm using waterproof Titebond glue to hold everything together and to seal it a little bit better. But I'm going to be painting the boxes once we're finished so that everything's sealed from the elements and these boxes will last quite a bit longer. I'm also pre-drilling every hole just to make sure that I don't end up splitting the plywood as I try to fasten it together. Now again, I'm going to take some scraps that I have laying around, so it's a bit of a sorted wood, but once I have everything painted, you won't even notice that. So I'm going to send this through, cut them all down to the right size. This is just going to be some thin strips of wood that I can use to frame up the top lid of this bee box. Then I'll take some wood glue, glue each piece as I staple it into place. These are pretty thin pieces of wood, didn't want to split anything by using screws, and the staples are a bit quicker and will hold it really just in place until that glue fully dries. Next, I'm going to take some aluminum sheeting, and I'm going to use this to make a cap to go over top of that lid and keep the water from soaking into the wood as much. This will just run the water all off the sides and hopefully keep everything nice and dry. I cut the aluminum about 1 inch long on all the sides. That way I have enough to fold the aluminum up and staple it to the lid, and that will give a better seal so water doesn't get underneath that aluminum and rot. Next, I'm going to be cutting 2 rails, one on each side of the bee box to hold the frames up and in place. I made the box big enough to fit 6 of these brood frames, the deep frames, and then have a little bit of extra space below that so that the bees hopefully will feel like they have plenty of room to grow and will accept this box as their new home. It's helpful to attract the bees sometimes by using frames that have already been used in a hive. It will have a strong honey or wax smell to it and will help attract those honeybees. So I have a few of the old frames from a previous hive as well as some new ones. I'm going to add some handles on the side to make carrying this just a little bit easier. You don't have to, but they sure are nice to have. Then I'm going to take these outside and put 2 coats of paint over top of this. I'm using exterior paint here, and I'm going to let this fully dry and then go back over it a second time and really seal this in. I want to make sure everything's sealed. The inside, however, you do not paint. The paint itself and the fumes may deter the bees and keep them away from your hive, so that is not a good idea. You want to leave just the bare wood on the inside. If you want to coat it to preserve it a bit more, you can coat it with melted beeswax, just paint that over it, and that will also help attract the bees. Now I'm going to go back through. These boxes have dried. I'm going to add the second coat of paint over top of this. And if I need to in a couple years as this weathers, I might go back over and add some more paint. But this should last a nice long time, and you really don't leave these out year round. You'll just leave them out during the spring, and during early to midsummer you want to bring this back in because swarm season will be done hopefully at that point. Just really depends on your location and what the weather's like for the bees. Now the last thing I need to do before this is finished is add a door for the bees to get in and out. So I'm going to drill a hole through these boxes and put on one of these beehive doors. The large hole is just the open door for them to come move into the hive. I've got a queen excluder on there that I could turn it slightly, make sure that the queen stays in, or close it completely, or leave it so that it's vented. This is perfect for when you catch the swarm. You could easily move it by closing the door at nighttime when all the bees are safe in their hive. Then you can easily transport them without any of the bees getting out. Once you get them back to your place where you want them to be, you can open it up to be just the queen excluder, which will keep the queen in the swarm catcher so that she cannot escape. They will set up their hive there and stay there for a while until you're ready to install them into your new hive, or you can just easily move them over right away when you get there. Now I'm going to load these up with the frames. I've got a few that I'm going to test out with some comb on it. I want to see if they're more attracted to those than the ones that have just used frames that I've scraped off the comb. I know I might get some wax moths in that one, but the others I'm going to test out and see if they work just as well, because they still should have quite a bit of scent from the old hives in there to attract the bees. In addition to the old frames that will attract the honeybees, I'm also spraying some bee pheromone. It's a swarm commander. It will help attract those scout bees that are looking for locations for them to swarm to. So I'm going to spray a few sprays of that on each of the lids before I close it up, and then I'll spray one spray through the doorway into that hive, and hopefully that should do the trick. If it sits for several weeks, you'll want to reapply that spray every couple weeks or so just to make sure that it's staying current and it will still attract the bees. I would recommend not overusing that for sure. You want to spray that pretty sparingly because bees can be pretty sensitive to the scent and might get scared away if it's too strong. Then we're going to go install these where they're going to be catching some swarms. I've got a porch here that's about 10 feet up in the air. Ideally, you can hang this from a tree or get it up off of the ground, but I'm going to test it out in a few different locations right here by all our beehives where the scent is already. I'm also going to be spreading these out quite a few miles away from where we're located, so hopefully I have a wider spread and can catch more swarms. Alright guys, that just about finishes up the video for today. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And if you're interested in purchasing some build plans to go along with this video, go check out my Etsy page. Thanks so much for watching guys. I'll see you in the next one.